Hey, hey, hey. Welcome on in. Welcome on in to Transcending Love. And I am Nettie. If you are new, thanks for being here. Appreciate you. And hopefully you can find resonance with some of the messages here. And if you are returning, welcome on back in this thing. I appreciate you too. Glad to have you all, both categories of people. And for the newbies, again, my name is Nettie, and I teach embodiment by way of self love, by way of channeled messages. That really just means that Spirit is guiding and leading us through with the messages in the collective energy. I always leave space for Spirit to do whatever it is the Spirit is wanting to do while we are in this space together. So it can come, the messages can come through in a number of different ways depending on what you all have going on. So, that said, I'm open, ready, and willing to receive however Spirit wants to give the message. So, anyway, I hope that you all are having a fantastic day. I hope that you are living your life to the fullest and living out all of your potentials in this life. I am. Life is exciting, and there are many things going on. And while there are many things going on, I hope that you can see the beauty in all of them. And don't forget, Spirit is saying, do not forget that the journey is the destination. It's about enjoying your time in the gap. What do you want to do? What do you want to create? How do you want to live your life? Make sure that you are living your life in accordance to your desires, your outcomes that you want. What would this life be if you decided to live it for somebody else's glory or somebody else's desire for you? That's no fun at all. And of course, up until the point that we learn to live for ourselves and we accept that it is okay to live for ourselves, we're often living for other people. We're often taking great consideration for the things that they desire for us in our lives, whether we are aware of that or not. We often are. So, and it really only stands to reason. If that's the only thing that you've been conditioned to know, then that is just the only thing that you've been conditioned to know. We don't do anything different until we first see the difference, recognize it, and know that there is a difference. You got to know that there's a difference to know that there's a difference. And you got to know that there's a difference to face and contend with in order for there to be change. And that's okay. This is not for you to consider from a place of judgment for yourself. It is for you to consider in love and change at will whatever things you desire to change, because you have the ability to do that. So, whatever you're facing at this point, just know that you are in control. Take control and do whatever it is that you will to do to change and navigate your situation. You have the ability to do that in love, is what I'm hearing. Often we are very like hypercritical, is what I'm hearing, whenever we're going through something. It's not always ideal, the things that we go through. It's not all fun. It ain't all, it takes a little bit of time before you can go through a number of situations with a smile on your face and enjoy even the struggle time. But know that it's okay. You'll get to a different place. You'll get to a place where you are managing some of the trials of life much differently than you currently do. Just like even now, you are navigating trying times and trials in your life much different than you have before. You didn't come this far to stop. And because you're not going to stop growing, it's okay to give yourself grace. Don't be so hard on yourself. Don't beat yourself up about things that you feel like are shortcomings or failings. Just keep on going and try to see the glory in whatever the thing is that you are facing. It's not to say that you can't have feelings about the situation and that sometimes you may have emotions about the thing. Very human place to be, very human things. And that's okay. You, again, are both spirit and man. So you have to contend with the fact that there will be some integration between the two, which means that you are learning to balance both the spirit and the physical humanness, the man part of who you are. And with that being the case, it requires grace. It's the spirit part of you that loves on you, on the human aspect, to get you to the place of non-judgment with ease. Okay, so just make sure that you are finding yourself encouraged in loving yourself through these hard times. I know that it's something that I'm always saying because this is the message the Spirit is always given, but it should be no surprise because this is transcendent love, which means that the base and foundation always of this place is love. So if at any point you feel like you're hearing this love message all the time, in redundancy, I'm hearing over here, you are. And it's on purpose because that's what it's about. You have been taught to be a harsh critic on yourself about all things in life, and that is just not how change occurs. And not for all of us, I'll say, because sometimes people are driven by that and it works for them to get them to certain places in life. But we all can stand and handle being more gentle with ourselves. The world is rough enough. All the goings ons in the world are rough enough. So it is 100% okay and encouraged for you to be gentle and deal with yourself not harshly, in grace and in mercy and in love, always and forever. So that's what Spirit wants you to know right there. Just be sure that in all the changes that you're making and all the things that you are doing to make changes, that you are doing them in grace, with grace toward yourself and love. And I have these cards here. For some reason, I'm picking up this really like tired energy. I'm suddenly feeling tired. I haven't been tired. So some of you, I'm picking up, you need to get more rest. You need to make sure that you are resting at night, that you aren't allowing worry to keep you awake and excessive thinking. If you notice, when you're up at night and you're constantly thinking like that, the end result is rarely ever a solution to the problem. You only end up very tired, sleepless, restless, and tired the next day. And because your body requires rest to replenish, rejuvenate, and restore and recover itself, you didn't get the rest that would be necessary for you to even get the answer to the problem. So it's really counterproductive to stay up at night. And I do know that sometimes that is easier said than done, depending upon situations in your life. But there are things that we can do to combat that. There are always things that we can do to hit override in our lives on the conditioning that we have. It's important to know that wherever we are in life, we've conditioned ourselves and others have conditioned us to get to this place. Because that is a fact, it is also a fact that you can recondition yourself to do something different. any measure of things that you want to do differently. You can condition yourself to do all those things differently. And one thing I will say that really helped me whenever I was struggling to sleep at night, because listen, your girl used to be a worry warrior, okay? And I would be up at night, and it seemed like those thoughts would be wearing me out some days. And it was a struggle for me until I learned some ways to combat that. One of the things that I did begin to do that helped me tremendously is listen to solfeggio tones or beats. Solfeggio beats or binaural beats going to sleep and throughout my sleep time, as well as different frequencies. I would set it on like whatever I was feeling at the time. Like if I wanted to be more in the frequency of love, I would find the hertz for love and go to sleep to that, and make sure it was on for the 8 hours while I was sleeping. So those are some things that help. Also, to recondition your mind, another great thing to do is listen to something that's encouraging in the direction that you were desirous to go. As far as like I would listen to Joe Dispenza sometimes, and then sometimes Neville Goddard, sometimes Napoleon Hill. It really just would depend on what I had going on. And sometimes I still do. I don't do it so much anymore, but just make sure that whatever it is that you decide to listen to, that you spend some time listening to it in your waking hours to be sure that the message is exactly what you want it to be, and that you are not taking in subliminals and auto suggestions in the direction that you're not trying to go to. Unfortunately, there are people who create those sorts of things. But at any rate, as long as you just make sure that it's exactly what it is that you want to listen to and be shaping your mind toward, you'll be fine. So there's that. So some of you have been experiencing these growth spurts, and perhaps you have noticed for some of you, and maybe some of you haven't noticed, where your gifts have increased or they're standing out more. I say increase because it seems like something new, and really you are just moving more so into the embodiment, or you're moving more so into the expression and expansion of your gifts, where you're beginning to more readily recognize them. And they're presenting in a number of different ways. Earlier, Spirit was giving me a message about a warming sensation. And many of these things, they, like I said before, they may have stood out to you, and others of you they may not have stood out to, but it's intended for you to go ahead and begin to pay attention, because sometimes things are happening and you're not really registering what's taking place. And I'll give you a couple examples. Y'all know I'm growing with y'all. Now, you should never stop growing. And you're, as long as you are intentional about continued growth, you don't stop growing. So I have been making sure that I'm doing the things necessary to hear from Spirit, and I'm getting more connected in that way, I love that. And you are too, is what is very clear by this messaging and why Spirit has brought it up at this time as an example. And so you know that what you're experiencing is very real. Some of you hear people talking sometimes and you ask them what they've said. This is what Spirit is saying. It's actually something that happened to me earlier, and it really kind of blew my mind a little bit. I'm never surprised by it, but I'm always in awe of it. I'm always open and accepting to whatever it is the Spirit wants to do, but I'm recognizing in the Spirit at this point that many of you are experiencing very similar things. Two instances just today where I I heard somebody's thoughts before they spoke them is the best way to that I can put it. And the only reason I knew that that was taking place is because I said, huh, as when I heard it, I said, huh, and they were saying that they didn't say anything. But then they went on to say the exact thing that I heard. Only one of the times was there an actual like verbal confirmation from the person that was on the other end, and it messed him up a little bit because he wasn't expecting it. He doesn't know me in this way. It's not something that I share openly at work. I don't really have. Mm, I don't. Yeah, it's. I still operate very much in this space. Few people, well, not few people. Nobody really knows that I'm operating from the space. I just seem kind of weird, probably, in the not weird kind of way. It's such a strange existence I live, but it's beautiful and mysterious. But anyway, he when I said hi, he said he didn't say anything, but that it was the chair creaking. So I'm like, okay, I didn't really respond a whole lot. And then he goes on to say exactly what I heard. And I said, that's what I heard you say. And he was like, and normally I wouldn't have probably said that. I probably would have just been like, oh, okay. So I did hear that. And I just would have kept it to myself. But I ended up saying that part out loud. And he's like, what? I didn't say anything yet, though. And he was like, what do you got? Telekinesis? Telepathy? And in general, it seemed to him like he was joking and just saying something. And I was like, yeah. He didn't really take any real consideration for it. But he went on and he was like, that's crazy. He said, I had a thought that I thought out loud, but didn't say, which was a funny way to describe it, but that's what he said. But yeah, so those kinds of things are happening. And sometimes you're not readily able to get the confirmation because sometimes you can hear the thoughts of the others telepathically, or some might call it ESP, which I can't even. Spirit, what is the. I can't think of the full name, but anyway, it's a psychic ability. And these are not irregular or unnatural in any way. These we all have them. We just don't all be tapping into them, or we're not always open to them. We call it something else or allow people to shun us away from it. It's a part of your spiritual gifting. So if that's something that you are gifted with, embrace that and just go on with your life in your psychic way. If we can accept, or if people can accept prophets, then they can accept psychics. It's the same energy coming from God. So, same thing. Prophets, prophetesses, all of that. All of that is psychic ability. And there was another instance where I heard it, but they never said it for me to see and verify in by their words, I'll say, because I really don't need a confirmation. I am pretty sure of the things that I hear more often than not. So I knew the energy of it yet and still. So sometimes that's another thing. And with more meditation and more grounding, you begin to be sure of your ability and you begin to move in a more embodied way in those abilities, and things become a whole lot more clear. When you don't allow people to introduce doubt into your gifting and your abilities, then you're able to stand more firmly and receive more assuredly. Thank you, Spirit. Because I wasn't going to say assuredly. What it is that Spirit is given to you. There's so many different ways that you can pick up on messages and experience the gifts that are there for you. Just be open. And that don't mean that you gotta like it don't mean you gotta be doing tarot readings for everybody and you gotta be doing psychic readings for everybody and that you gotta be doing mediumship. Like whatever your gift is, cool. Build out some services around it and hone your craft. I don't want to say craft because it's hardly a craft. It's a well, it can be a craft too. It can be something that you have fun and are pretty crafty with. That doesn't make it less serious, is what I guess I was getting at with that. But allow Spirit to help you to navigate that space in a more controlled and pointed way. Spirit will help you. It's necessary, even for a number of reasons. But whoever that is, whoever that may resonate with, just know that this is Spirit. You don't have to be freaked out by it. There's no reason to be freaked out by it. It's not the devil. You're not possessed. You don't got multiple personalities and whatever other things that people would like to try to diagnose you with. You're not crazy. And some of you maybe have experienced this for a long time. Some of you are very, very familiar with these measure of gifts because you've experienced them since you were a child. Some of you maybe have had parental figures around that encourage you in the gift, probably because it's something that runs in the family. Others of you, not so much because the opposite runs in the family and nobody has been open enough to it for you to be able to explore further those gifts for yourself. And that's okay. We're all working toward and against certain things in this life. But now, on this other side of knowing, you can begin to explore that further for yourself. Anytime you're curious about any of the things that you are experiencing, Spirit is saying to look them up. The internet has been created as a resource for all of us to be able to explore and find the answers to that we need to many of the questions that we have. And so very fortunately, there have been people that came before us that have stood boldly in their gifts and in their callings and have spoken openly in spite of what the world thought of it. So, because those are the things that people have elected to do, they have assisted us in being able to find some of the information that we need concerning these gifts. Spirit will tell you. You really don't have to look up much of anything at all if you are open to listen. If you are still learning how to hear spirit more clearly, then go ahead and look it up. And the more you look up stuff, the more things begin to register with the research. And the more you begin to open up to it because you know a little bit more about it, and spirit will use the information that you've gotten to help you navigate the space. For many of you, spirit is giving you or has given you, and you can't quite understand it. You can't understand how you know it. You understand and know that you understand and know, but you don't really know how. That's going to resonate with somebody. Sometimes that's like the inner knowing, that clairvoyance or clairsentience more so, where you just know. Clairvoyance is seeing, but I mean, what did I mean? Claircognizance, which is clear knowing, if I'm not mistaken, or an inner knowing. You can't really all the way explain it to somebody all the time, but it hasn't been wrong, and it proves to be right more often for you whenever you're following it. So, yeah, those are some of the things that Spirit is wanting you to be aware of. And I spoke in some of the other, like another video recently about just different bodily functions or bodily functions or alerts as confirmations. Spirit is wanting many of you to pay more attention because there are messages coming through. There are gifts that you are being shown that unless you slow down, you won't see them. You won't recognize them for what they are. And sometimes that's easy to get misconstrued, is what I'm hearing, with other things that are registered for somebody. I'm hearing something about a house, and I don't really know where this just came from. Maybe some of you are wanting to buy a house, or you just bought a house, or you're moving into a house. Congratulations on whatever those things are for you. I'm hearing somebody is only now beginning to think about a house, whereas before they didn't really give it too much thought. They didn't care a whole lot about or see the value in home ownership, but now they've changed. You've changed and you now want a house, and that's okay. It's okay to change your mind. Go on and get you a house if that's what you want. Just make sure that you are paying very good attention to these contracts and all of the fine print. That was so country. Maybe you are country. Maybe you got an accent, because I don't know where that came from, because I don't have that kind of accent. Read the fine print, okay? But yeah, make sure that you are reading every piece of print on those contracts, and be aware that there's so much that you don't know. Be open to that. Do not be afraid to ask all the questions that you have. Find some YouTube videos on whatever the topic is at first that you have questions on, to kind of brush up on it, and get your questions together for whoever the loan officer may be, or just in general trying to understand the process a bit better for yourself in this purchase, is what I'm hearing. Don't go at it blindly. If you have somebody that can help you, go ahead and have somebody to help you. And take as much time as you need to. Don't rush into anything. Do not rush this purchase if this is what you are doing. When you don't know about a thing, it's easy for people to get over on you. But just take the push a spirit will alert you when it's time to pay attention to certain things, but make sure that you are reading all of that paperwork. It can't wait until later. And if they trying to rush it upon you, it's a no-go. If they can't wait for you to read it, then you don't need to be a part of that kind of deal. Whatever it is, because you can be sure, for damn certain, that it's not going to work out for you good. Also, make sure that you look up information about the property tax in that area. Take into consideration whether or not that area is fully developed or not, if it's up and coming, if it's new construction, is what I'm hearing. If it's new construction, be aware that whatever you pay that first year in property taxes, and they are still building, it will not be the same come those following years. And with every bit of improvement done in the area, your property tax goes up. So make sure you are accounting for all of those kinds of things whenever you're going to make these purchases. It will make all the difference, because property tax can turn a $1,600 mortgage way up right quick. So just keep that in mind. That's for somebody. It seemed kind of random, but I know just as well as you do, if you often listen to readings, that it's not ever random. It's not ever by coincidence or happenstance. It's because of the collective energy and whatever it is that you're looking at and trying to hear right now, or whatever the energy is right now, more so. I'm hearing something about a lake. Take walks at the lake. Get out and make sure some. I'm hearing somebody and their mom used to walk at the lake. So I don't know who that is for, but it's something about you and your mom used to walk at the lake. And I don't know if you're. It feels like she is not with us anymore in the meat suits that she's transitioned on, and is with you in spirit, and that is the thing that she wants you to know. And that anytime you are walking at the lake, or you go to walk at that lake, it's, and she's saying to be sure that it's not just that lake, but anytime you take walks at the lake, she's walking with you. So for somebody, you and your mom, if that was your custom and the thing that you all did together, then that is what she's saying right now. So keep on taking them walks with mother at the lake. That feels so sweet. It feels like a very sweet and loving and kind energy. So hopefully that resonates, and whoever she is, I'm I'm hearing that I'm hearing her say your mind is gonna be blown when you hear that, and I'm hearing the name Susan. I don't know, and Yvette. So if that fits, and Diane. So maybe her name was Diane, maybe her name was Susan, maybe her name was Yvette. Maybe yours is, and I don't know the correlation. I can't tell you that at the moment. But if this part of the message is for you, then you know the correlation. And pretty dope of her to slip on through right quick. Um, I believe that's I believe that's the energy. I do believe that that's the energy. Anyway, so that is the energy that I feel for you all today. That is the channeled messages for all of those who it was for. And yeah, I'm gonna leave you right here. And encouragement always to go on and be the best and greatest version of yourself in all the ways possible. And you can start that out every single day by directing your day. If you don't know how to direct your day, or if you're interested in taking part in a part of my rising ritual, which is a routine that I do every single day as I am starting my day, getting up and moving around, you can click the link in the description or the link in the on the main profile description, and it will take you to that part of my sacred rise ritual. You can download it and do it with me every single day. Directing your day, becoming more empowered, and moving more so toward every single day embodiment and loving on you, being the very best and greatest version of yourself. I think I might have said very. I meant very. But you can be very. You can be the very best and greatest version of yourself. Anyway, if you're interested in that and getting right to it straight away, and then the rising, go ahead and click on that link and help yourself. Also, I didn't say it. I don't think it's free. It's free for you, so it don't cost you nothing this go round to go on and be great. Starting out your day. Direct your day. Don't let it direct you. Okay. Until next time, I'll leave you this message in love and light only and always. Holla.